So first of all, I just want to thank everyone for being here, and also a big thank you for the Pocket Gamers team for putting this together. Can we have a big round of applause for the Pocket Gamers team, really, for putting together this awesome conference? Thank you very much. So my talk today, I'm covering about how at TouchTen we are a mobile game company. How do we double our iteration speed by working with backend as a service provider. And through the course of my talk, I will be introducing my good friend Wandrille, who is from XtraLife, CEO of XtraLife, who's providing a really awesome set of features for developers. So without further ado, I'll start. So TouchTen and XtraLife has a long friendship. Even though we're from different countries, different continent, we speak the same language. We are believers of innovation, and we're both, has been in the game industry for a while. A little bit of a background for myself. When we started TouchTen, we didn't have a lot of budget. We didn't have a big team. What we have is a strong passion in games, and we are moving quickly on market opportunities. So moving fast has been really important for our company. And we started off with this game called Sushi Chain. What happened was that back then in 2009, we saw in the market there was a lacking of game about food, about sushi. And we had to move quickly to fill in that gap, because if we didn't move quickly, somebody else will, and would have missed the opportunity. So that's how we started with Sushi Chain. Moving quickly on that, we're able to develop our game in 2 months and get a lot of users to play our game, because simply there was no other game that covers this, delicious, fresh food here, sushi. So along the years, we've been moving quickly on different opportunities. And last year, we did something different. Last year, we identified the women mobile gamers as a really key market, and so we started making this game called Royal Garden Tales, and that's where the context of this talk we'll talk about. The way we work is that we build, measure, and learn iteratively. We build our game iteratively every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks we're pushing new version of our game to the player. And as we build, we learn. As we build, we try to understand our users through user interviews over here. We do play test, and then we also use data analysis using BigQuery and using Tableau to really look into the data and improve our game from that. And also we use market research. What we know is that when we iterate faster, we're able to achieve better results. So this is a chart showing our previous games, first 6 months download and first 6 months revenue on the right. When we're able to iterate quickly with our latest game, Royal Garden Tales here in orange, we're able to achieve much more. And so we already know that moving fast is key in this industry. But sometimes moving fast is not that easy, especially when we're trying to build a back end for our game. We're a bunch of people that are really passionate about gamers. We love the UX of a game and the game design and the front end of a game, but the back end is a whole nother animal altogether. So that's what we have discovered. We realized that when we're trying to build a back-end team, it's quite problematic. First of all, we need a dedicated team. The team here involves finding back-end engineer, front-end engineer, network engineer, SDK engineer. These are some of the most rare Pokemon that you can find, right? And then it also presents a management bottleneck, because not only you have to find these people, but also our management team have to manage them. Our CTO have to divide their time between the front-end team and the back-end team. And then also scaling up is a problem. So some of you might know that, you know, a backend setup that works for 10K DAU might not work for 100K DAU, for 500K DAU. So scaling it up is a challenge as well. And one thing we realize is that oftentimes when we're doing our sprint, so we do our game development through sprints, and when we do our sprint, we think of it like, okay, we'll spend some time building the core gameplay, and then we look into like, okay, let's build some live op elements, let's build some social element. But what we end up doing a lot of the time when we're trying to build our own backend is actually, we're doing this. We're doing a lot of time spent on building the infrastructure, all the backend stuff, and then layering live ops and social on top of it. And this kind of situation is a problem because what we want to do is to improve the gameplay for the players. We want to build the best experience with the players, and that's a big problem. So for us, we're very fortunate, we're very lucky to have a friend who can help solve this problem, and that's where XtraLife comes in. And here's where I would like to introduce Wandrille, who's CEO of XtraLife, to share a little bit about how XtraLife, what XtraLife is, and please take it away, Wandrille.
All right. Hi there. So, to get back, I'll draw the parallel between the previous presentation and what was Monte about Contra. Is metagame is so important for your revenue and everything, but to build all the infrastructure and all the backend and everything is kind of a big job, and that's what Roki is mentioning here. So that's what we provide actually. Our XtraLife has been set up 8 years ago in 2011, and what we want to be is a backend as a service, meaning that everything you have to do to improve your metagame for a lot of players and all the tools, all the leaderboards, all the live ops, all the events and everything, we provide the tools to build that. And what we believe is that we help the game companies to reduce their development costs and time by 25% because we already have a lot of tools that are readily available and ready to scale. So that's very something that could help you build and build fast. Just to give you a rough idea, we have about 10 million players on the platform so far, 200 live games and 500 million API calls every month on the platform. So to give you a rough idea. And what we believe as well is since all these tools are ready, we give the game developers the right to fail. Because if your game is a failure, and many of them will be, but that's fine. You don't have spent a lot of money and a lot of time building something that you cannot choose again. So that's what we do. We have 3 main lines of products. The backend features, so everything you need to build, the clans, the team, the leaderboards, the achievements, all the inventory, the game push notification, and the events and live ops. But we also do real-time multiplayer software. And we also have a location-based server that will help you build Pokemon Go-like games without building the server with that. So that's the 3 kind of services we do. And I'll leave Roki mention and explain how we work together on their game.
Yes. So one of the key partnerships that we did with XtraLife is actually on this live ops game mechanics. In one of our sprint, we have decided to start implementing our live ops. And if we were to do this alone, we would have taken double the time to build this. And so if you were to take anything away from this presentation today is that when you can partner up, why don't we partner up, you know? Why do it alone when you can work together with a partner and then maybe in the end of the partnership you can make a friend, right? So that's what been my experience. In this case, when we're coming into one of sprint number 8 here, we're building this challenge. We're building this live ops front-end user experience. And when we partner with XtraLife, in parallel, and they're a super responsive team at that, and they're a very talented team at that. In parallel, working together with us to build the scheduler dashboard for the live ops. So here is actually a calendar of events that we can just use the dashboard to quickly create events. And so again, if we were to do this alone, we would have done one sprint here, and then one more sprint here, and basically take double the time. And so by working with a good friend or partner, you really can save time, and you really can learn a lot of things. So moving on, we are building new things, and I'm putting a plug here for my next game called My Pet Cafe, which is going to be the first ever puzzle game that feature, all the most fun cats and dogs, popular cats and dogs, and we're doing cool things here with XtraLife as well. So really quickly, this game is about managing your pet cafe and collecting your most favorite cats and dogs, your best friends, and then doing so by playing match 3 game. And just to give you a preview of some of the things that we're doing here is that you see this cafe over on your left. We want players to be able to visit each other's cafe. And so to that end, we're building a visit a friend system for that, right? And then also here with the pets and the cafe, we want to be able for players to have an opinion on, do you like this cafe or not? And so we're building a voting system on this. So the beautiful thing about working with XtraLife is that when we build all this, that future partners that engage with us, engage with XtraLife, will be able to use some of these features. Like, it's built in a modular way that you can reuse it. And I hope that some of you can actually make use of it and benefit from it. So if you don't mind me sharing about XtraLife, so they are absolutely a really brilliant team of backend experts. So I've had the chance to meet with Wandrille and his team, as they're super smart and they're super responsive, and they care. And really, they helped us build a custom user experience. So by working on that project, they had to customize the workflow. They have to customize the back-end workflow, and they did that wonderfully, and they're really kind to do that. And last but not least, definitely, working with a good partner like XtraLife can really seem like you're extending your team, you're making your team, you're having your own back-end team, and you're learning from them, and you're gaining from them, even though they are working remotely, even though they're from another company. And so again, I would say that the takeaway from my talk today is that if you can partner up, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to build everything by yourself. You can partner up, you can gain learning from your partner, you can save time, and maybe you can make a good friend out of it. So that's the end of my talk. This is our details, and if you have any question, I'll be happy to take them. Thank you very much.
So do we have time for some question?
Of course, yes. So does anyone have any questions, guys? Yeah, let's go. Let me give you a mic.
The pricing structure for XtraLife.
That's our pricing structure is made for people to be able to fail. So we're free up to 1 million active user per month. And we believe that when you have 1 million monthly active user per month, you might be able to pay us, or you probably have a monetization problem. But that's, and afterwards we charge $500 per million active users.
Okay.
And of course, other backends do exist. So, any more questions? On that note, thank you very much, guys. That was great.
Thank you.